Hello, I'm Melanie with Paint and Crafty, and tonight it's Tuesday night draw along, and I'm going to walk you step by step how to draw this sweet little set of little animals. Here, let's pull you this way so you can see it. Oh, it's a Christmas trio. We've got Santa in the middle, the reindeer, and then a little bit of a polar bear down at the bottom. They're looking very festive in their little winter hats, and I love the color combination of turquoise, pink, and orange. I love it for Christmas too. So that's the coloration I'm going to be using today. The paper I'm going to be using, if you are new to watercolor, this is the paper I'm going to be using, is the Canson watercolor brand paper. It's 140 pound, but it's still considered a student grade watercolor paper. But I am always in the firm belief that if you spend just a tiny bit more money on your watercolor paper and just buy the watercolor that you can afford, you're going to get a lot better result and won't feel so frustrated. Hello, my sweet friend Mary. She's watching on YouTube. Hello to those who are watching on YouTube. Hello to those who are watching on Facebook. I'm glad you're here. Hello, Gloria. Hello, lady. Thanks for coming on in. Now, if you would do me a sweet favor, for those who might be watching on YouTube, if you would go ahead and click out of the comments, give me a thumbs up. You know how YouTube likes to have that. It just sends out the little feelers of maybe there's something good going on here and maybe other people would like to watch. And thank you so much for those who are sprinkling out the love on Facebook. I appreciate that too. Well, tonight we're just going to do the stack of little fun, whimsical characters. They're going to each have an O for the ho, ho, ho type part. And then in each one of these little areas, there's the reindeer, the Santa, and the penguin. And I've got this on, this is a 5.5 and a 5.5 on this one. I thought I'd bump up just a little bit bigger for this one just to try it out. I think this would be great, even larger would be fun to do it. Even on a canvas would be great to do this one on if you wanted to paint it on a canvas with acrylic paint. Would be fun as well. Hello, Joni. Hello, Sue. Hello, ladies. Hello, Vicki. And Kellyanne's here. Hello, my friends. Thanks for popping on tonight. Well, let's start off. Well, December. Well, it's almost December. Gonna get here close. I got a birthday coming up next week already. So 1 year more around the calendar. But let's take a look at a little bit of Christmas drawing here. So we're gonna start with a circle for each of these, and then we're just going to hand do our H's. So we're just going to use our own handwriting to be able to do this. You could use a circle if you feel more confident doing that. I tried doing that on one and then my circles got too big. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball it to see how much room I got and how much room I've got. I'm going to start out with Santa down here. So I'm going to start with my O off to my side here. Put it over off to the side so you've got a little bit of space. Now when I'm drawing a circle, I usually go at least 2 times around just because warms my hand up, doesn't lock me into being exact shape. I'm okay with that one. Let's pop in the other circle. So now this will be their polar bear. So he's going to come over here. Now if you're working on a bigger piece of paper, you could line all these up straight if you wanted to. But I knew I was going to be doing on the smaller one, so I thought I would just offset them slightly. Now let's pop up here and do our reindeer circle. So he's going to come up here. Now I do need to have a little bit more room at the top for my reindeer antlers to get in there. So I'm going to have to make sure my circle has at least a little bit more room to get my reindeer antlers up there. So I'm going to put this circle maybe a little lower and come off to the side. It doesn't have to be exact. And like I said, if you're working on a larger paper, you could probably just stack these all right in a row and that would be cute too. All right, so I think I'm happy with that. I think that looks good. So I've got my 3 circles. Let's go ahead and do our H's. So our H's are going to be as high as our circles, kind of in that general realm. So I'm just going to look over here. Here's the top. I'm going to just lightly put a mark there. I'm going to come over here and just lightly put a mark here. And do the same on this one so I can kind of line up my letters where I know I'm going to be putting them. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm just doing uppercase H's, so that's just going to be down, over with the leg, up, do a middle piece, down, over, and up. As far as letters go, these ones are pretty easy. Nothing too fancy about these. Now you can decorate these up as fancy as you want it, and I should have probably moved it closer. You know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to move it over closer to my O. It's a little too far away. Bring it in a little closer. You can notice this one, I had them a lot closer. So I'm going to go ahead and do that too. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to maybe start here. That might help me. Put my first line here where I know I want it. And then over. And of course this paper is slightly bigger than what I was using before, so I can make my letters a little bigger. Over we go. And down. Up. Hopefully everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Kind of rebounding off of holiday head, trying to get back into the groove. Hello, Donna. Thanks for coming on. Hi, Karen. So glad you're joining in tonight. Okay, let's start with our next H. So I'm going to bring this one in closer so it's a little bit more staggered. So here we go. Down we go. Over. Across. This is just all going to be freehand. Nothing too perfect about it. This is just kind of a fun practice to do some fun whimsical faces, have a little fun with some whimsical lettering. This is just a great little sketchbook type of sketch. Okay, down we go. All right, we got one more H to fit in there, so I'm going to start next to this guy, like that. Up we go. Takes a little bit. Who would have thought the H's would have been this much time consuming, but it takes a little bit of work just to get them eyeballed up. As long as it looks good to your eye, that's the main thing. They're all going to be different. Okay, so ho, 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 I think I'm going to be okay with that. And like I said, if you have yours and you want to line them all up straight, you can. But sometimes that's a little bit more work to get them all straight. This way, it looks like it's intentionally wonky. And you know, I like intentionally wonky. That's always, I'm always for intentionally wonky. Now, with these circles, I'm going to look at them and decide which one I want to keep. Which line do I want to keep? Because I'm going to put just the smallest bit of line around it as a border. So look at your circles, see which ones you want to keep, and then I'm going to come right next to it here and go around. So I'm going to make it like a double circle is what I'm going for. Some of this is going to be covered up, and again, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're doing a very much a hand drawing. I'm going to come right in here, I double up on my line. I didn't use a lot of marker on this drawing. I mostly kept it pencil. I did throw in just a tiny bit of marker, just a tiny bit of gel pen. That always adds a little bit of sparkle to the drawing. There we go, up and around. All right, so we've got all set up. Now let's go ahead and add some design on there. I call it intentional, right? I agree, I agree. So let's do this little face here. We're gonna start with the reindeer up here. This has just got a partial circle here. We're gonna look off to the side. We're just gonna come up and make a partial circle. It's gonna come right around and then touch, okay? And then we're gonna make the top of his little face. So that's gonna come around. Now we gotta leave room to put those antlers. So I'm just gonna come right up there and make another little upside down U shape. And then let's put that nose in, but let's put it a little higher up towards the top, like that. And he's gonna have a little sideways grin because these guys have a little bit of character on him. So he's got a little sideways grin on there. Let's do some ears. Reindeer ears have a little bit of a point and down. They're not too big, kind of like if you think about it like a kitty ear is what you're kind of going for. And then let's put the reindeer antlers in, and then we can put his little hat in. So I'm just going to start on each side just a little bit like that, and then I'm just going to come up and then make some fingers. They don't have to match or anything. They're going to come down. They're just going to be off to the side, kind of like a little cactus. That's another way to think about it. All right, so we have his little antlers on. Whatever might be on the inside, you could just lightly erase with your pencil. All right, let's put his eyes on. So his eyes are going to be close to his nose, this part of his muzzle of his nose. Now, when I do eyes, I do like to, if you're going to have a slant to them, it's best that the top parts, they go like this. So they would go in. If they go out, they look like it's more like super, super wonky. So if you make your eyes and you're going to draw them that way, you can draw them so that the top parts are facing each other. If you're going to draw them straight up and down, you could do that too. Just have them up, straight up and down. I'm just going to put a slight little slant to mine, like this. And he's going to have a hat, so we're going to come around his little ears. So I'm going to come off to the side here. Now I'm going to make it kind of high on his forehead, but this band's going to come across like that. And then it's going to come around here. Now his hat's probably going to go outside of my circle, but that's the design I was looking for. So if we kind of erase this line here, just a tiny bit, just make it so that it looks like his antlers are peeking out. So just a little line here. That will make it look like his antlers are coming through his hat. It is going to have a little bit of area inside of his ears, and then we're going to do that little band, like it's going to come down. So these will be the band of my hat. Now let's go ahead and make the little top part. So we're going to come up past my circle here that I drew, because I want him to come out just a little ways past my circle. And then we're going to put a little bit of ball on the top. Now yours might look different than mine, most likely, because I can never draw mine the same 2 times in a row. Yours isn't going to look like mine. So yours is going to have a little different character and a little different look, but that's just how I kind of set out to draw it, is to look something like that. All right, let's pop down and do Santa next. Santa's kind of got it, he's got an easy face too. We're going to start with his nose. So let's start with his nose. Look at how big you made your reindeer nose. Kind of make your Santa nose similar. If you wanted to make it round and small, that would be a cute way too. But I'm going to just start right here in the middle, kind of make it the same size as my reindeer nose, like that. So I'm going to come here, going to swirl it up to the top there and bring it on down. Now we've done lots of gnomes, so this is similar to a gnome, a mustache. We're going to come over and come down. So there's Mr. Santa Claus's mustache. Now let's put his eyes in. His eyes are pretty close to his nose as well. And if you're going to do that little, angle them off to the side, or you could do them straight up and down. Okay, so we've got him pretty much built. Now let's put his beard in. So his beard is going to come at least down here, maybe even a little past your circle. So I'm going to come up here, I'm going to make it come just a little low past my area and then around. So if it does come lower, I'm going to erase the bottom part of my circle. And there's his beard. He's looking pretty cute. Now I did put a little smile on his face too. I gave him a little smile one too, so you could do it just like that off to the side, just to make him look a little bit whimsical. If you wanted to put little glasses on your Santa, that would be cute too. You could put some little glasses around him. That would be super sweet. Let's go ahead and make his hat. So to do his hat, I'm just going to make an arch up high like this. And then I'm going to come around, and then I'm just going to make a curve and then arch it around and come like this. This is a good way to build it. It just helps you figure out what your shape is going to be. Now you don't have to keep it this shape. You can add some little bit of puffiness to it, so it's got a little bit of oomph or a little bit of character, like that. And this will be the side of my circle. There we go. Now if you want to, you can come in here and clean it up just a tiny bit from your pencil marks so you can see the design that you drew. And we pretty much have Santa's face done. Let's go ahead and stick his hat on. So now his hat is going to go past my circle again. So I'm just going to come here, come out. This is kind of a sideways S. It's going to come up. So we're going to have that curve. I did kind of a little bit of a skinny end for my Santa hat. Kind of come in, do it, and then back down. But again, this can look any way you want it. If you want to have a fatter hat on your Santa, put a fat hat on there. If you want to have this little skinny hat, you can do it that way. So it's just an easy little motion of S and then back reverse the other way. And then I'm going to put a little puffball right on the end. Okay, so there we have his little puffball on there, and that kind of takes up some space. Now let's move on down here to our little polar bear. So up next is our polar bear. Now he has a very, he's got a shape that's a U, but his head is a little bit more pointed. It's not so rounded like a U shape. So I'm going to start here and I'm going to come up with my U, but I am going to make it a little bit more pointed. A little bit more, like a gumdrop shape. Maybe that would be a good way to describe it, a gumdrop. Just to look like that. And then I'm going to come off to the side and do his ears, which are a shape that, I drew it like that, where they were smaller. It kind of came out, kind of an upside down triangle is what he's got that look on. Now let's go ahead and put his muzzle in. So his muzzle is a pretty good part of this little guy. So that's going to be fairly big. And that is a shape that looks like a rectangle, but it's got some softness to the edges. So they're not like straight, but it's that same type of idea of drawing a rectangle. Again, his eyes are going to be close to his muzzle. So we're going to put those there. I'm going to draw mine at an angle. He's going to have a little bit of a nose now, so we're going to put a triangle shape in here. There's his triangle. Now we have to make his mouth, so we're going to do that in a hook shape. So we're going to come down, hook it to the right, come down, and hook it to the left. And there he is, cute as can be. Now if you got some room, you could always put a little bit of it inside of his ear. And then he's also wearing a hat. So his hat is going to travel past the top part of that circle. Came in to show some love. Oh, I'm glad you're here, Kelly Rose. Thanks for popping in. So let's go up and let's put his little hat on. Now I made it sit kind of in between his ears this time, so I came up on each side, give it a little bit of an arch or a curve, and then this little beanie is going to come up onto this area with a little bit of a ball at the top. He looks kind of silly, but he is so cute. I love him. Now I did do a little tick mark design on his forehead just to give him a little bit of character. And again, I gave it a band so I could add some color right there, is what I'm going to be doing there. And now we have all of our animals drawing. You can take a look at what you might want to do with your letters. This one I made polka dots in. This one I made long lines. This one is hard to see in this lighting, but I put little Christmas trees in there, and I used my silver gel pen. And that's how I created the little patterns in there. These are all cute. This one's got a little bit of silver gel pen in there. Of course, my snowflakes, they're made with a silver gel pen. You can kind of see the color pop, which is kind of pretty. So you could take a look at yours and see what you might want to do for patterns for yours. And I did do a little bit of pen work. I wasn't going to do much. I was going to only do just a little bit with my Micron pen. Now I'm going to come in and do this on my eyes, so I want those to be a little bit darker. And I put the whites in with my Uniball pen. I didn't even try to do that. Oh, I did leave some highlights on my nose. I forgot about those. I'm going to draw those in, just a little bit of a highlight on each of the nose. Coming right there. This guy didn't have a lot of room to put one, but I did put one right there on that part of his nose, just to add tiniest bit of highlight. Now you could do all this in pen work if you wanted to, and have that darken up and use it like a normal pen and ink look that we often do. Come here. But I thought I would try it with just doing mostly pencil. I did do a little outline work on my letters afterwards. Part of that is because I just can't stop myself from doing it because I like the look. But this would be cute done in glitter. Your glitter gel pens are just your gel pens if you have a nice selection, or permanent markers too. Well, I forget about the permanent markers, but they are a great tool as well for coloring in small little areas. Don't forget about those, or your water-based markers too. They work really well for these types of things as well. Okay, so I'm going to take my eraser. Now, if you're new to my page, this is the erasers I like, the high polymer erasers. I have a heavy hand. I do have to draw a little bit darker for you to be able to see what I'm doing. So this is my favorite one. It doesn't leave any marks on your paper. If they do get dirty, like they build up a lot of graphite on here, just take it over and just rub it on like a clean piece of paper and get them off is what you're going to do. All right, let's see. I've got my little dust vacuum over here, and I'm going to go ahead and suck up all these little things. If you don't have one of these and you do really enjoy drawing, it's a nice little thing to add to your list of wants of maybe for Christmas. You could get yourself one of these. These come in super handy for picking up all the erasers. And they're good for picking up glitter, strings, all kinds of things. If you're doing crafts, those types of deals, that makes it great for that. Well, let's go ahead and start. Now, I'll probably just use this little tray again. There's a name for these. The name's not on here. There's a brand that does these little ceramic trays. Of course, this was a lot smaller than what I thought I was buying. But it still works, and I can use it. I'm going to take out some pink here, like a bright pink. I'm loving this color combination for Christmas. This would be cute done in traditional colors too. So I'm going to pick up some orange, not orange, pink, that was pink. And then I'm going to pick up a brighter color orange, put that in there. And then I did mix a little bit of the turquoise color to be able to do also on there. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of my turquoise. I usually mix, it's a little bit of green and a little bit of blue because I don't have a really pretty color for it. So I kind of mix my own. You can mix watercolor just like you can with acrylic paint. You just do it with watercolor. And the good thing is, a lot of times once you get what you want, if you don't use it all, you can just have it in there and it'll sit and stay. And you can use it some more. I think I need some more blue. You know, some people really enjoy mixing colors. I don't know if I'm one of those people, if I really enjoy mixing colors. To me, sometimes it's just easier to have my color already done and I can get to the painting and I don't have to mix. So all of those years of doing faux finishing and having to have recipe books and figuring out all my color combinations, there's something about just having it already mixed up that's kind of nice too. Well, hello, Brenda. You're watching with Dad and Amy. Well, I'm glad you're watching. Thanks for coming on and seeing me tonight. Well, let's go ahead and do some of our painting. Now, this little guy, he's got the reindeer color. I do have this little set here that I've been working with. It doesn't have a great set of browns, but I make it work. And I'm just going to pick up some brown, mix my own color. It actually takes about 3 colors to get what I want. So I'm going to mix a little brown for my little guy. Hopefully you have a brown you don't have to mix, which would be nice. Okay, so I'm going to start with my little reindeer. Now, if you're new to watercolor, the watercolor, you start light and then you work your way dark. So this is going to be my lightest color. If you want to leave some of the white of the paper showing, that's good too, because that will be your brightest whites. So I'm just going to put a light layer on and I'm going to give it a chance to dry before I put my next layer on. Okay, so let's work a little bit with that pink, that bright pink, and let's work a little bit with that. I made Santa's hat that color, so I just come right on in. This would be cute with little polka dots in the background too, like if you wanted to make those little 3 groupings of polka dots, that would be cute. Now the only pink on this guy was the little bar around. I made that pink. My little circle, my beginning one. And then I did this little pattern in pink on his hat. I added some pink up there. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Make that work. And I made Santa's nose a little bit of this pink color too. Added some there. And Rudolph, he gets a little bit of a pink nose too. I probably should have waited just a little bit more. His background is still pretty wet. I'm going to come back in here in the background and add some pink in this background here. And the ball in his hat. And let's see, where else do I have pink? Oh, I made the polka dots pink on here. So if you're going to do some polka dots, I didn't make those in pencil. Let's just freehand them in, I guess. We'll just pop some polka dots in. Like so. Polka dots are one of my favorite shapes to paint. I like painting polka dots. I like painting polka dots. All right, let's make some stripes on that 1H. So I'm going to take a little bit more of that pink, and I'm just going to freehand some stripes that are coming down. I'm not even going to measure. I'm just going to pop them in, and then I'll make some orange stripes in there too. I did use a little silver on that one as well. All right, let's pick up some of that little bit more of that brown color that I did on my reindeer. I'm going to give it a tap. It's going to be the same color, but I'm going to give it a tap so I don't have too much water on there. And then I'm going to add just another layer of my brown. So basically you're painting the shadows is what you're doing. So I'm going to come in wherever I think there might be a shadow. I'm going to add that next layer. So around the top by his hat, right here next to his muzzle. Take a look at it, pop the colors in. Oh, I think he looks pretty cute. All right, let's pick up a little bit of our orange color now. So this bright color orange that we have sitting here. So that's going to be my next color I'm going to use. And I'm mixing it to about the consistency of tea is what I'm mixing it, is the color that I want. So I'm going to come in here. This little guy's going to get an orange hat. Right like that on the top. He's got some orange stripes too, so wherever I want the orange stripes, I'm going to pop those in. And the background of Santa, he gets a little bit of orange as well. So I'm going to put right here. Thinking I want some right here and a little bit here, just a tiny bit. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to do some orange stripes. So I'm going to come up, freehand my orange stripes in between my pink ones. So I'm just going to come in and lay those in. I like the look of these little freehand striping. Okay, looks cute. Now let's pick up a little bit more of that orange and we're going to mix it to the tea consistency and let's work around our polka dots. So we're going to come in, work around our polka dots, if that's what you've got on yours. I'm moving pretty quickly tonight. Now, when you're doing yours, you might want to take your time and layer more of the colors. So this would be your lightest layer, but you could easily come in and do another layer to add a little bit more dimension. So take your time as you're building it. I'm going to come in and do a little bit more of that brown, maybe add just a tiny bit of black to that color, just to even darken it a little bit more for his antlers. So I'm going to come up here and make his antlers just a tiny bit darker than the rest of his body that I did. I'm going to pop that color in. Okay, there we go. Cute. All right, I'm going to take a little bit of gray. I have a gray color in my set. It's just kind of a light gray color. It's not too dark. It looks kind of dark here, but it's not as dark as what it looks like. When you get your color sets of your watercolor, you're going to want to make a color card to give you an idea of what your colors look like wet on paper. So you're going to want to mix that. Now this one is going to be a little bit lighter than tea, so I really want it to be a soft gray. So I'm going to mix it a little bit lighter. This is the color I'm going to come in and do Santa's beard. I'm going to do it just a tiny bit darker, and his mustache. I'm going to do it a tiny bit darker than what I would think I would want it because I'm going to use that gel, my Uniball pen, to add some circles or some texture to his beard. So I'm going to want it a little bit lighter. Okay, and I'm going to, or darker. I'm going to add a little bit more water to that same color. I'm going to really water it down, but I'm going to take a little bit of my black because I want a little bit of blue in that color, just to make it a little bit lighter. And this is the color that's going to be on just a tiny bit of it, not a lot, just to add some depth to the white of my hat so it's not so stark. And then I'm going to come over here and I have this blue sitting here, and this is probably the color I'm going to use for my polar bear. I'm going to mix a little bit of my gray, a little bit of my blue, and a lot of water. And I'm going to add, my polar bear is going to be kind of a grayish blue is the color I'm going to go for. And I'm going to do his ears the same way. Cute. Okay, and then his muzzle is going to get a little bit of this color too. Oh, he's supposed to have a pink nose. I forgot to do that. Oh, well, I'll let that dry a little bit, and I will add the pink nose to it. Let's pick up a little bit more pink, and I want to add just another layer of the same color that I put on, but I want to darken up that first layer because it's dried a little lighter. Watercolor always dries a little lighter, so you're going to need to probably add just a tiny bit more. I'm going to come in here, up here in this ball. And let's see, I'm going to give him some pink cheeks. So I'm going to come into my pink, kind of water it down just a tish bit more. And I'm going to come in here and give him some sweet peach cheeks. I'm going to just tap it in, rinse my brush out, take my water out, so it's kind of considered a thirsty brush. And I'm going to come right back into that pink, and I'm just going to tap the edge, soften my pink a little bit so I'm not just getting perfectly little round apples on there. And that's going to be his little pink cheeks. Now let's go ahead and do our little Santa face. I'm just choosing this flesh tone that I have, kind of a peachy flesh tone. And this is what I'm going to do my Santa, because that's what I have. You could add a little bit more brown in it to darken up his skin if you want to make him a darker toned Santa. You could do a little bit of that too. Just a little bit more color to him. Okay, cute. All right, let's work a little bit of my turquoise. So I've got this turquoise color here. I'm not for sure I'm really 100% sold on it, but we'll try it. So I'm going to do his hat, this background here. Let's pop it in here. So when I do these little drawings, I try to carry my colors throughout my picture. So if I've got some here at the bottom, then I want some at the top. And I kind of float that color around as I'm doing it. So now up here, I'm going to put that turquoise. I like this color. I think this looks good. Looks good. I didn't do any of that detail work. And I forgot his brown ears. Oh my goodness, I'm forgetting all kinds of things tonight. All right, and then Santa's little rim around him. I'm feeling it to see if it's dry enough to do this. I think it's okay. His little circle is going to be turquoise because I have to bring that color in. So I'm just going to see where I might have it popping through. Just a little bit of turquoise. Okay. And he could maybe have some down. Well, that's his beard, so I won't mess with that. All right. So up above, I needed to add some more brown for that little ears. So I've got just a tiny bit here. I'll just use this color. And I'm going to pop that into his ears. Even though my hat is still a little wet, I'm gonna chance it. All right, let's put that little bit of pink on my polar bear. So he's gonna need a pink nose here. I'm gonna give him some pink cheeks too. So I'm gonna come in and do just kind of a soft little look for his little pink cheeks. If they get too bold, go ahead and rinse your brush out with some clean water, give it a tap on your paper towel, get some of it off, and then touch that again, and then they'll just soften up and they won't be such bright, round little balls. But if you want that look, you can leave it that way. All right, they're looking a lot more cute. Let's do the turquoise and their hat. Let's see, I'm going to touch here. Now, the reason why I'm touching my paper towel is I really need to make sure I don't have too much color on the end of there when I touch, because it's going to flow all the way around if I have too much color on there, because these are such small areas. That's why these little brushes with the sharp tips on them, the watercolor, this particular one, the Velvet Touch Princeton brushes, this is a number 6. These are great little brushes. They have great, super nice tips on there, and they last a long time, but it sure does make painting a lot easier. Let's put this one here, 1, 2, 3, put that there. Okay, I think that looks good. Now I did do this H, this one in turquoise. Carry that around. And I put the trees in a gel pen. So they're like in a silver gel pen. Okay, there we go. Cute as can be. All right, I have to let that dry just a tiny bit up there. Now the one around the orange goes around this little guy here. So I got to put this circle in orange. And I'm going to have my patterns just about finished. Super cute. Now, if you do one of these, you could go ahead, if you're watching from Facebook, just pop it in the comments underneath the video. I love to share everyone's work, and I always say it doesn't have to look like mine to be good. And I think you inspire others to try. And there's so many creative ideas, and you give me creative ideas, and you give other people creative ideas. So I love to share your work. I'm going to come right here. So go ahead and post it on my page. I love to see what you're doing. Let's see, we're going to come over here and add a little bit more dark to this one. Now this just has a plain old Christmas tree in it. Okay, so we have that part done. Let's see. All right, let's take my gel pens and let's see what we can create with those. So let's see, I thought I found a Uniball pen that worked. I was having such a hard time getting my Uniball pens to work. I'm thinking that maybe the Uniball pens actually should be stored straight up and down instead of laying down, because then that would keep that ink more towards the end of your pen. So I think I'm going to be starting to store my Uniball pens straight up and down. So I'm just doing some twirls and creating a little bit of a pattern, a little bit of a spiral pattern there. And then I'm going to come into his mustache and I'm just going to follow the same shape that I drew it. So I'm going to add it this way. And I know different ones have said that they've had some problems with their Uniball pens too, cooperating and trying to figure out why they're not working. But they can kind of see some ink in there. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to try storing them a different direction and see if that helps at all. see, we've got to have some orange here, and then we'll throw a little bit of pink in that hat, and then he will be completely matched. We'll give it just a tiny bit of chance to dry. Let's go ahead and take a gel pen, and let's create some snowflakes with the silver gel pen. Well, hi, Michelle. Thanks for coming on. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Kelly Rose. Now let's go ahead and do a snowflake. Now a snowflake, there is kind of a way to think about drawing a snowflake. So when you're doing the first one, I start with this X shape here. The key is to kind of make it kind of a squatty X, so not like I normally think of an X, but a little bit more squattier and across from each other. And then when you put that middle line down, you're going to have a little bit more symmetrical all the way around, or at least that's what I found. I've been making when I've done snowflakes. So I'm going to start with my cross this way, kind of a gradual X, and then I'm going to start this one this direction. So you can see how it's kind of squatty. It's not a bigger X, and then I'm going to come down the middle. So that just helps kind of create a little bit better snowflake look, I guess. The spacing is a little better for it. So it's just a little simple trick to be able to create just a tiny bit better looking snowflake. If you want to try it, it's something to think about when you're doing snowflakes. So I'm going to do that big one there, and then I'll do a small one up here. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start with kind of my squatty X. It's going this direction, and then down the middle. And I'm going to create maybe just balls at the end this time. Lots of ways to create snowflakes, so there's no right way. And then I'm going to put another one here because I have a lot of space. So I'm going to do my squatty X. I can do that shape. And then the one down the middle. Cute. All right, now I kind of got a little wonky here, so let's try a little. I accidentally touched my paper, so let's try a little different pattern. So I'm going to start doing a whip and a whip and a whip in between each one and see if I can't get that to work. Snowflakes are kind of fun, and they're a great way to have fun with these little things. Now to do my little trees, all I did was do kind of a point, and then I just wiggled back and forth and then did a stick. That's all I did. So I started small and then squiggled, and then down. They don't show up real bright with the silver pen, but when you get off to the side, they do. Okay, that looks cute. I'm going to come up here and add just a silver line. Choose an area. I'm going to do it on my orange one, I guess, this time. And I'm going to add a skinny little silver line on there. Jazz it up a little bit, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to kind of circle around my polka dots and just strengthen my polka dot shape. Since I just did them freeform this time, I didn't draw them with a pencil, so I'm just going to come in and add a little bit more dimension to them. Now for the background, you can do whatever you would like to do. He looks cute done with just the white too. You could do, and maybe this time, I'm not sure what I want to do. If I want to do gel pens, or well, we'll just stick with the program. We'll just stick with the program. I did a turquoise background on it. I took that turquoise color, but I watered it down fairly well. I added quite a bit of water to it because I didn't want a lot of color in my background. So I colored it watered down fairly well. And then I just come in, and since this is a fairly new painted project, I don't want to spend too much time on a certain area because I could reactivate that base color that I put on. So I'm just kind of skipping around it, changing my brush strokes, different angles. So I'm not trying to get perfect. That's just the look I like. I'm not going for perfect. Now those gel pens, the water just kind of bounces off of them. They are dry. You definitely want to make sure they are dry, but it is kind of cool how they do repel. They don't stick to that watercolor at all. This would have been fun too, to have tried doing some white ink on the background. If you haven't done that yet, that's really fun, is to take some white ink and splash it on these backgrounds, and they make kind of a cool look on it. But we'll have to try that with one of our Christmas holiday paintings. We'll do kind of a darker background and then splash some white ink on it, and that always looks really cool. Let's take a little bit of a little bit of darker color. A little bit more, less water this time. I'm going to give this off to the side here and give it a tap. And then I'm just going to tap just a tiny bit. Now, because my background is wet, these dots are not going to stay too pronounced. They're going to be more soft when they dry. If you want a stronger dot, wait till it dries, and then your color will be stronger and it'll stay put. I'm trying to avoid putting them on my face. I really don't want to get them on my character's face either. But you would just wait for it to dry, and then you could do that and you would get a little bit different look. You could also put salt on there, and that would give it a different look too. Bring it up close so you can see that little character in his little face. Oh, I forgot to add, let's see, what color am I missing there? I'm missing the pink. I'm missing the pink on his hat. Okay, so let's do a little bit more pink. Let's do a little bit more pink in there. Okay. Then I think I have them done. Then I think I might have them done. So I'll bring you up close so you can see. Whoops. So we got just that really fun characters, the sparkle of the gel pens, their happy little faces. You can see the little swirls with the Uniball pen and the character on there. Fun little way Christmas drawing. This would make a perfect little one to put in a frame. Like if you had just a white frame, this would be super cute in a white frame. Except for now, this one's too big for here. But if you wanted to frame it, it would be so cute if you had a frame that they would fit. Or this would make a very super sweet, would make a really super sweet card too. If you wanted to do this and make it into a card, it'd be super cute. Well, and let's see, we'll switch it over this way. Oh, there we go. Well, that is it for tonight for our draw along. And I'll be back on Thursday for Quick Sketch Thursday, and that will be happening just on YouTube on Thursdays is where Quick Sketch Thursday is, so you can join me there. And I believe we're going to be doing a gingerbread type of ornament is what I'm thinking we're going to be doing. Thanks a lot, Michelle. Thanks, Gloria, for popping on. I can't wait to see your items if you draw them. Remember, you can go over to my Facebook page and just pop them right on in there. Well, thanks for hanging out with me tonight. You have a good evening, and hopefully you'll come back and see me again. Bye now.